So Billy Billions, who is due to be sentenced for conspiracy to commit murder on the 1st of October, has come out with a lot of new information about the way his case was handled, or the way it was mishandled. It was a messy trial. I urge you guys to go and watch my video that I made 2 months ago, breaking down everything that we knew about the case, if you want to better understand what I'm going to speak about here, but I'll still summarize everything you need to know. A detective constable admitted to altering text and Snapchat messages in his case, and those snap messages and text messages were key in getting a conviction. He says that a shell casing that a police constable said that she found when they searched his address was non-existent, and that body cam footage actually corroborates the fact that it was a hair ornament used for dreads, not a shell casing, and that the shell casing wasn't even put into evidence until 2 days after the search. And he also believes that the judge wasn't on this side. Listen, if there is any corruption with the police, I think it needs to be addressed. And in this case, because there was an artist who was left paralyzed when she was just going about her day, and because it also involved a car full of civilians celebrating their friend's birthday being shot up, leaving one of them blind, like life-changing injuries, I can see why the police would be eager to get the book thrown at you if you are linked to this in any way. And after reading through what Billy has to say, I think he deserves another trial, because the trial was a mess. There was lots of drill lyrics used, lots of Snapchat messages. He was asked about messages he'd never seen before, but that is conspiracy. To get wrapped up in a conspiracy, anything can link you. They can link you anyway, but they have to prove that you had intent. And he was convicted of conspiracy to possess a firearm with intent. And Billy just clarifies this here first. He says, my ethnicity is black. Both my parents are black, and my grandparents and great-grandparents are both from Jamaica and are all black. My exact words to the jury after the verdict was announced was, you would have never sent me down if I was white. I did not call anyone racist, but believe that race was a factor in my verdict. And at the end of Billy's trial, it was said that he was saying, angrily saying, if I was white, this wouldn't happen, So Detective Constable Clinton Lennon, the lead detective in charge of my case, altered evidence which was confirmed in court and under oath blamed another officer for this, specialist crime analyst Nicola Foskett, which she denied. She stated under oath that she had proof that the alterations were made by DC Lennon. Detective Constable Lennon had to later admit under oath that on at least 3 occasions he had changed key text/snap messages, which gave a completely different meaning to what was said, not only supporting the prosecution case, but more importantly, undermining my defense. Yet there was no uproar about this. The police getting a guilty verdict on that is what gave them the intent for the conspiracy to murder case. And they used messages that were sent hours before the shooting to say that he gave directions to Briscoe on where to pick up the gun. If you go and watch my full breakdown on the trial, you can see what we're talking about. I was convicted last year for giving a gun to someone with the intent to or enable somebody to endanger life, which I firmly denied. Not only were the jury unaware of the alterations to evidence Detective Constable Lennon made in the previous trial, the jury were also told that a bullet shell casing was found in his house at the back of the sofa. Lies. This non-existent shell case led to my previous conviction in the first trial, as I was convicted by a majority verdict for the firearm, and it was a hung verdict on the count conspiracy to murder. And the trial was a mess. There was like 3 retrials. It was a 3rd trial that he was found guilty on conspiracy to murder. And in that trial, it's mostly just messages. It's mostly just Snapchat text messages, drill lyrics. Like, they spend an embarrassing amount of time reading drill lyrics, like trying to attack his character, using his music to say, hey, he did this, like, come on, he conspired, look at this, there's a link, this, that. They just use that to sway the jury. And when I made my video, I was thinking there has to be more than this. Like, that's the majority of what we saw Chris Summers reporting, but conspiracy, man, that's conspiracy, joint enterprise. It's not, like, nobody's safe, especially when civilians are involved. They're going to do what they can to try and get the book thrown at you. They're going to push for that. The lies were revealed in court in my retrial this year, and the jury chose to ignore all of it. I put that down to me being a black man, and irrespective of the injustice they were hearing, it didn't matter. And one thing that's true here, bro, as a black man, bro, like, you have to prove yourself innocent. You don't look innocent to a jury. A black man in court, you don't look innocent at all. Surprisingly, 2 members of the jury were crying when the second majority verdict was announced, yet they came to an 11-1 decision against me. Now make that make sense. Well, it's emotional, man. A woman was left paralyzed, the man was left blind. Like, it's emotional. I believe that my verdict was the product of a biased and unfair trial. My experience has shown me that the dishonesty of the police and the justice system is real, corruption is real, and I don't put corruption past the police. I don't trust the police. In July, the police filed an account freezing order on me. Far from the first time that it's happened, it happens to me all the time, but this time it was probably the most ridiculous reason, because the police, they don't need a reason to file for an account freezing order. And I didn't find out till a few weeks ago, but someone I've been in contact with before, his yard got raided, and because his yard got raided, they filed an account freezing order on, man. That's literally the reason, bro. And the police have done this to me so many times since the BBC documentary came out about, man. They just keep on doing it. They used to alert me before they would do it to give me a chance to explain myself. But now, if it happens these days, they don't give any warning. All it is, yep, account freezing order filed. I need to wait like sometimes a month. Sometimes I'm able to get it in like a couple of weeks if I'm able to come up with a good reason. Hey, my people, Chung Lee asked if you could give the video a like. Thank you. Like the video. Like it. Cheers. Press like. Thank you. And I need to get my lawyer to come up with a defense for it, which costs money. Like fighting an account freezing order, even when it's bullshit ones, which they placed on me most of the time, it's a couple of £1,000, bro. Because if you go there and you don't have the right defense, you don't have everything patterned, they can make the order stand and then it's just long. So I hear where Billy Billions is coming. I don't put corruption past the police, bro. They'll really take the piss. They'll abuse the system to take the mick. And I'll say this, even to the victims' families here, like the police getting away with mishandling cases, altering evidence, breaking the rules is bad for all of us. The system is not perfect, but if we do not believe in the system, or we do not hold the system, hold everyone in the system to a high enough standard, the system will crumble, and then it's just, you know, it's nothing. It's bullshit. I am no angel, but I am not a killer, and I did not conspire to kill anyone or force anyone to do so. I also did not provide the firearm used in this shooting. That charge has been the catalyst to many things that have followed, because all that was needed in the trial against me was bad character evidence and my art as a drill rapper, which pays my bills to bolster a non-existent case. This trial, with body-worn video footage, exposed the shell casing was in fact a hair ornament for people with dreadlocks. My Cody is a Rastafarian, and that particular hairstyling is in accordance with his religion. The shell casing narrative was created to have me convicted, and it worked. When cornered by my defense barrister after confirming the search of my Cody's house was due to him being suspected of being in possession of a gun, Police Constable Maria Finberg confirmed the reason the shell casing she had allegedly found at the back of the sofa was not in the evidence bag is because she forgot. And she admitted to only reporting that she found a bullet casing and forgot to put it in the evidence bag 2 days after the search. Now that is very fishy. They're saying body camera footage shows when they were searching the house, it wasn't a bullet casing, it was a hair ornament. And then 2 days after the search, the bullet casing was put into evidence. Another officer involved in the search was questioned and said he could not remember the search, and that line was his evidence throughout cross-examination. I cannot remember. What was also made crystal clear in my trial was that the person I allegedly gave this firearm to was unanimously acquitted of conspiracy to murder and possession of a gun over a year ago. This has been the crux of the conspiracy to murder charges against me. Now make that make sense. Even if you have no serious previous convictions, bad character evidence will haunt you even when it's not directly related to a case, because the drill artist persona/branding is enough for conviction of guilt by association. When all the evidence surrounding you is circumstantial, basically stating, as some of my friends have been convicted for murder, I must be a killer too, cap on cap. I mean, in a conspiracy, that sticks. You know, in a murder conspiracy, that's what they can say. He said the jury was being shown clips of him on holiday in Turkey with friends on a resort that had a gun range, legal, supervised, suggested by the prosecution that the trip was to train my co-defendants how to shoot. That's what the police are gonna do. They're gonna do things like that, bro. Because you're the one on trial here. You need to defend yourself. You get Instagram lives where I was interacting with fans whilst being present at a video shoot was shown, but suggested by the prosecution I was doing this to provoke opposition gang members and assert gang leadership. And in his trial, it was kind of ridiculous when they were playing a drill song that didn't have much traction, and they tried to say, oh, you guys heard this song and you got mad, didn't you? You got mad. And when they're questioning Billy, he's like, brother, I don't know, I heard the song. Yeah, I didn't. You know what I mean? The police are trying to make out like he heard that song and that's why they planned to conspire to murder. You get what I'm saying? When in reality, with drill rappers, bro, they're only more likely to do that if the song actually goes freaking crazy viral. You know what I mean? If you're one of the biggest rappers in the UK provoking them, then yeah, they might go on a ride out because of a song that you dropped. But with these little, nah, not really. Gun prop pictures which were sent to me for music video shoots were taken off my phone, which was confirmed to have had over 32,000 photos on it at the time of all sorts of images. It was suggested by the prosecution that the photographs of the guns proved that I had a propensity for crime. My Billy Billions logo used against me, suggesting the tally sign was me letting the world know that was my way of saying I openly record dead body counts. A white professor contradicting himself when trying to translate Snapchat conversations and song lyrics to suit the prosecution's arguments. Inconsistent snap messages in a group of 30 plus people. Many were private conversations that clearly did not include me, but I was asked what they meant when I had never seen the convos before. Now make that make sense. System's not perfect, man. I think he deserves a retrial. I think he should definitely get another retrial or get his case heard again, because them altering Snapchat and text messages is ridiculous. because the messages are literally most of this case. Without these messages, I don't think they would have a case. And the police, it looks like the police used dirty tactics here. Letting the jury believe that they found a shell casing in his yard is going to help them get a conviction for possession of a firearm with intent. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, look, see, this, we've got messages, and when we searched his house, we found a shell casing on the back of his sofa. You know what I mean? That's going to sway a jury. The prosecution, led by Alexandra Healy, KC, closed their case while knowing they had withheld evidence that assisted my defense, along with the judge's bias throughout his emotive 3-day summing up. He decided to introduce another theory for the jury to consider that was never in the prosecution's argument, which suggested, in his opinion, that I could still be found guilty of conspiracy to murder, even if the jury believed my defense to be true. It was unreal, and when challenged, the judge, Philip Katz KC, didn't care and confirmed he was not going to change what he said to the jury, so we could do what we wanted with that. Well, this is the judge, Judge Philip Katz. This is the first judge I've been able to find a picture of. You know, it's mad. He appeared in major criminal trials for the prosecution and defense, educated at Roundhay Grammar School, Leeds and University College, Oxford. He was called to the bar in 1976. Yeah, this guy, you see when you like, you see when you have a judge like this, bro, man went to Roundhay Grammar School. That just sounds rich, bro. Look at this. In 2020, the school received a world-class schools quality mark, which requires an outstanding Ofsted assessment. Wow. This is where the judge was educated, bro. People like this judge, bro, they're not gonna, they don't have any understanding of where we come from, bro. You know what I mean? They don't have any understanding, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to feel any sort of sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know, you've had 2 civilians paralyzed, you know what I mean? And they're linking you to that. And Billy Billion's defense to the messages was that, you know, they were going to go rob a grow yard. They never conspired to murder anyone. But if he's saying that messages used to get a conviction against him were altered by the police, that is a red flag, and, you know, that needs to be rectified. It needs to be given another fair shot. To me, that sounds like the easiest grounds for appeal ever. I advise anyone who has been through what I am experiencing, or who knows someone who is, check your case notes meticulously, get transcripts from the case, and go over the areas that could have prejudiced your case. Where there are lies from the people in positions of power, there will be holes and errors. Remember, art is not evidence. To everybody who played a part in this miscarriage of justice, you know who you are, and you've misused your power as a weapon to bury me. But know this, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. So this ain't over. To all my young supporters, stay out of the streets. Peace and love. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to every single one of you guys watching. Thank you.